Imagine this. An electric car pulls up, its sleek design promising a cleaner, greener future. It's marketed as a zero-emission vehicle, a solution to the environmental crisis. The excitement around electric cars, EVs, has been palpable, with headlines celebrating them as the saviors of the planet. But what if the reality behind these electric vehicles isn't as perfect as it seems? For grassroots environmentalists, these shiny green vehicles might look good on the surface, but they represent a set of new problems disguised as solutions. At the core of every electric vehicle is its battery, made from materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. These materials sound harmless enough, but the process of extracting them comes with a hefty price. Mining these resources is highly resource-intensive, damaging ecosystems, depleting water supplies, and releasing harmful chemicals into the soil and air. For environmental advocates, swapping oil rigs for mines doesn't solve the core issue of exploiting natural resources for the sake of progress. Instead of addressing the sustainability of resource extraction, the focus shifts to creating new kinds of environmental harm. The promise of electric vehicles is their zero emissions during operation, but this claim doesn't tell the whole story. In reality, manufacturing an EV, particularly its battery, generates significantly more carbon dioxide than producing a traditional gasoline-powered car. This is a major concern for grassroots activists, who argue that EVs don't eliminate emissions. They simply shift them from the roads to the factories. The carbon footprint associated with the production of electric cars undermines their environmental credentials, creating the illusion of progress without addressing the deeper issues. Then, there's the question of what happens to an electric vehicle battery once it reaches the end of its life. Unfortunately, recycling these massive batteries is a daunting task. The complexity of EV battery recycling is a logistical and environmental nightmare, with few facilities capable of handling the process. As a result, many batteries end up in landfills, leaking toxic substances into the environment. For environmentalists, this is another major flaw in the green vehicle narrative, an unresolved contradiction to the promise of sustainability. The energy infrastructure behind electric vehicles isn't as clean as it's made out to be either. While EVs are marketed as zero emission, the reality depends on how the electricity to charge them is produced. In many regions, electricity is still generated from coal or natural gas, meaning that the clean energy needed to power EVs simply isn't there. If an electric vehicle is charged using power from fossil fuels, it indirectly contributes to the same emissions it was supposed to prevent. This reality highlights the limited environmental impact of EVs, leading many grassroots activists to view them not as a breakthrough, but as a false solution to climate change. Another key criticism from grassroots groups is how electric vehicles contribute to a culture of overconsumption. Rather than challenging the idea that everyone should own a personal car, EVs reinforce it. Instead of focusing on creating better public transportation systems or building more walkable cities, the push for EVs promotes the idea that every individual needs their own vehicle. Activists argue that true sustainability lies in rethinking the entire transportation system, focusing on alternatives like mass transit, car sharing, and cycling, not simply electrifying cars. For many grassroots environmentalists, electric cars represent a form of green capitalism, a way for corporations to profit from the environmental movement while ignoring the deeper, systemic issues. While electric vehicles might reduce emissions in some contexts, they don't tackle the underlying problems of resource extraction, urban planning, or sustainable energy. They are seen as a band-aid solution, shiny distractions that mask the real challenges we need to face if we want a truly sustainable future. So, what's the verdict? For grassroots environmentalists, electric cars are more of the same, dressed up in green. While EVs may play a role in reducing emissions, they aren't the solution to our environmental problems. True sustainability goes beyond swapping gasoline for lithium. It requires a fundamental rethinking of how we live, consume, and move through the world. Instead of focusing on the glossy promise of electric cars, we need to direct our attention to deeper, systemic changes that will create long-lasting, meaningful solutions. The future of sustainability isn't about quick fixes or technological shortcuts. It's about creating a world that is truly built to last. What do you think? Do electric vehicles live up to their green promises? Or are they just a shiny distraction from the bigger environmental issues we need to tackle? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Together, we can push for real solutions and create a sustainable future that goes beyond surface-level fixes.